Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to configure a firewall and install the Apache web server on a newly configured EC2 instance that we did with another video. To do this, I'm on a PC and I'm going to be using PuTTY to SSH into my server. So without ado, let's get started. I'm SSHing into the instance. I'm going to put in my passphrase. I'm using a PPK file with PuTTY. Now, before we get started, I want to change the color configuration for PuTTY. It's a little bit difficult for me to see. Going to click on the icon at the top left, go to change settings, and then go to colors, and going to check use system colors, click apply. Okay, easier and much better. Okay, very good. So currently the system that I've set up, and now let me also say that I'm not a server admin by any stretch of the imagination, and what we're going to be doing here is for testing purposes only. When you're ready to take your server live, please consult with your server admins, make sure you restrict access, change your passwords, and do all kinds of neat things. But again, what I'm showing you here is only for development purposes. Having said that, I'll also say that since I'm not a server admin, I may pronounce certain things incorrectly. For example, I don't know what the correct pronunciation for sudo is, or is it sudo or sudo? I say sudo, partly because I feel silly saying sudo. So again, if I mispronounce things, please forgive me. So, having given you those disclaimers, let's get started. The first task I want to do is configure download and configure the firewall. And I'm going to be using the yum installer. Yum stands for Yellow Dog, I think Yellow Dog Update Modify. It's to the best of my understanding, it's a program that you use on some types of Unix servers to install packages. It's an RPM package manager. So again, you don't have to know how it works. This is how we're going to use it. The first command we want to type in after logging in is the following: sudo yum install system-config-firewall. Press enter. As you can see, the yum kind of checks the repository and tells you what it's found, and it's prompting us, is this okay? Type yes or no. I'm going to type lowercase y and press enter, and it's going through the downloading, and it's I guess it's completed installing. The next step we want to do, since we've just downloaded, is to configure the firewall. So the command for that is sudo space system-config firewall, system-config-firewall. When we do this, it kind of brings up this almost GUI type of interface. Now, for you, the enabled section here might be checked. I've installed and uninstalled system-config firewall several times on this computer, so I remember the first time when I went through this, it was checked. So if it is checked, you want to uncheck it. So again, I'm not going to click anything, but if you loaded and the first thing you saw was this, then you want to uncheck that. And just follow the directions. It says I just clicked spacebar to uncheck it, and you can use your keyboard arrow keys to go back and forth between the choices. So I clicked space. You can space to check, uncheck, leave it unchecked. Down arrow to OK, press enter. Essentially, now it's asking us whether or not we want to do that. We want to click yes, and it should exit. And that's just about done configuring the firewall. Next thing we want to do is to install the Apache web server. Now, before I do that, I just want to show you that without Apache, your website really won't come up. And to prove this to you, this is the path to my EC2 instance, and I'm going to copy and paste that in a browser. And well, here, I've already done that, but let me just show you. And if we try to visit this page, there's nothing there. And I'll show you that after we install Apache and reload this page, we will see the Apache default page. To do that, again, we're going to use yum again. We're gonna type in sudo yum install, and the name of the Apache web server is httpd, and I'm going to press enter. Yum installer will find that. It'll ask you if it's okay. Type in lowercase y, press enter, and it is going through and installing things. Now it says that it's complete. The next task we want to do is we want to add the HTTPD service to the server's config file so that when the server restarts, it automatically starts the Apache service. Again, I'm not a web server, but it seems to me like we're almost adding the program to the startup folder, giving the example out of just a Windows operating system. So to do this, we're going to type sudo space check config httpd on. It won't say anything, but trust me, it's done it. Otherwise, you would get errors. Next thing we want to do is to turn on the Apache web service, and you do that by typing sudo space service space httpd start. We should see an OK. Next step to do is to uncomment a worker npm line. Again, to be honest, I'm not sure what this is, but I've set up this web server several times, and each time I've done that, I've followed this step. So let me show you what we're going to do. I use the Vim editor on this EC2 instance. Vim, VI are essentially the same, and to do that, we're going to type in the following command: sudo vim, and the location of the config file we want to edit for HTTPD is the following: /etc/sysconfig, and you can partially type things on Unix. I know many of you know this, and press the tab key. It should autocomplete for you. I just did, and it auto-completed sysconfig for me. And HTTPD. I'm going to press enter. So it loaded the file for me, and sorry about that. To just a couple of other shortcuts, if you press GG on your keyboard, it should jump to the top of the file. If you press Shift G, it'll take you all the way to the bottom of the file. Just a couple of shortcuts. So I'm going to go back up with GG. And the line you want to uncomment is this line right here: HTTPD equals user sbin HTTP or HTTPD worker. To do this, I'm going to press I on the keyboard to go to insert mode, and I'm going to simply remove the first pound sign from the line. Pound or double forward slashes are commenting, so we've just uncommented. Next thing, I'm going to press the escape key to get out of insert mode, and I'm going to essentially save and exit the file. And in Vim, you do that by typing a colon, so that's shift colon on my keyboard. I'm going to type in W stands for write, Q stands for quit, and the bang stands for force. So once you do that, we've edited the file and we've come back to the prompt where we were. Next thing to do is to restart the Apache server. So most of the times when you're making any changes to Apache config files or anything else that has a reliance on Apache, you have to restart the Apache service. Otherwise, you won't be able to see the changes within your browser, or essentially the changes will not take effect. So to restart the service, I'm going to type restart service restart or service HTTP restart. But here's another hint, and again, many of you know this, but on Unix systems, if you press the up or down arrow keys, it will toggle and go back and forth between the history of the commands you've been typing. So this way you don't have to type the same thing several times. So this is the service we want. Sudo service HTTPD start. Well, After I did that, I don't get an OK. Oh, I see. The service is already started, so we actually want to say service or sudo service httpd restart. And it should stop and then start it again. And there it is, stopping and starting. Now it's on. Now here's an optional step. If you want to make sure that the HTTPD service or the Apache service is running, you type in the following command: sudo ps space dash ef space pipe space grep space httpd. And it finds the service. It shows the services that are running. I have several of them running. Again, this is my dev server, and I install and uninstall things here all the time. But this is basically showing you that the service is running. Now, the most visible way to see this is by refreshing our browser here to see if we're going to get rid of this error page. And sure enough, when I refresh, I pressed F5 on the keyboard, I'm seeing the default page for Apache. So congratulations, we've set up the Apache web server. Thank you for watching this video.